Well, another day, another project. And today's project, we're gonna take the blower off. I had mentioned in the previous video that it blew out the gasket in the back. I don't know why, but I'll show you right here. You can see right here. I'm curious to see if it ripped or how it moved. You think the whole back would have blew out, not just the corner. But I'm gonna go ahead and take it off. I know the bolts are tight. You can't tighten them too much. I think people that aren't familiar with the studs right here are actually aluminum. They're not steel, so the torque spec on them is only 12 foot-pounds. In case the motor were to backfire and it was loaded up with fuel inside, it would blow the blower right off the top. So the bolts are made to break away. Plus, in the back of the intake, you can see down here, this plate right here is like a blow-off valve. If the motor backfired, and it's done it twice since I've had it, it backfired, but luckily it just blew this plate open right here. It sprayed the back of the firewall with fuel. And it's, like I said, just to protect the motor and protect the blower. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get some wrenches. And I'm gonna try to lift it off of here by myself. The blower, it's an 871 blower shop blower, and it weighs just under 100 pounds. The thing is heavy. I don't feel like taking off the pulley to take the tensioner off, so I'm just gonna leave it in the up position. Here you can see inside. Let me spin it here. You can get a better look. See? Anyway, it feels tight. Everything, on the blower looks good. It's just that gasket. Let me get the camera set up, and I'll get some wrenches, and we'll go ahead and see if we can get it apart. I might have to take the studs out. It's a little too heavy. All right. See if we can try this again. No trouble here. Let's see what happens here. This should just pop up. Yeah, right along here is where the gasket blew out. Right at the corner here. You see this? Blew this part out. Looks like I got a little bit of cleaning to do. Got another gasket. Well, last night I went ahead and scraped off all the gasket material on the intake. Got it cleaned up and ready to go. And I also cleaned off the spacer here. And I think I found a problem. I called the blower shop this morning, the people that make the blower, and they were really nice. I was looking on their website, and they showed two gaskets. They showed this black gasket you see right here, which was underneath the spacer, and they showed his green gasket you see down here, which was between the spacer and the blower. Well, I called them up today to find out what the difference was or the price and what, what's the green and what's the black. And it turns out that this black one is for gasoline if you're running gas or racing fuel. And the green one is for alcohol. And then that makes sense because if you look at the black gasket up here where it blew out, it's really soft, like the methanol ate up the gasket. So I wouldn't think it would push it out, but maybe if it got soft enough, it pushed it out. It did happen. So anyway, I ordered another green one. He said, try that, torque it back down. And hopefully that's going to fix that problem. We should be okay. In the meantime, I wanted to talk a little bit. I get a lot of people asking a lot of questions all the time about blowers. This one here is an 871 high helix Teflon stripped, and by that they mean you can see in here on the rotors there's these Teflon strips that help seal it against the case. It's a little bit more efficient than without this Teflon strips. Another thing, a lot of people assume that the air gets sucked in through the blower and it goes down through the center of the blower. Well, it doesn't work that way. When you rotate this, now I'll show you up here, this rotates clockwise like this in this direction. You can see this rotor right here. This air that's in this pocket right here will get sucked in and squeezed around the outside of the case. And as that one's pumping air in, then you can see this one over here starts to squeeze air in. So the air gets squeezed around the outside of the case and down into the engine. It doesn't actually go through the center of the blower. And here you can see me spinning it, how it works. In my last video, I explained a little bit about the bearings. You can see back here, there's two bearings. They're pre-sealed, pre-lubed sealed bearings that go here for the back of the rotor shafts. And then the front bearings are in gear oil. And there's a set of gears in here that drive this rotor on this side, drives the one on the other side off of a set of gears. Also, another thing a lot of people ask about is the size of the blower. The only difference between the 671, 871, or a 1071 is they get longer. They don't get bigger, they just get longer. So in my situation with this motor here, I'm running about 545 cubic inches. This 871 blower will give me enough air, but I'm having to run the blower at like 15, 16% overdrive. And what I mean by overdrive, for the people that don't understand, if the pulley on the bottom, on the crank, is the same size as the pulley diameter, same size as the pulley on the top, then you're running what they call 1-to-1. If the crank turns one turn, the blower turns one turn, okay? But because this is a little small blower, or not small, but small for this cubic inches, I'm having to run the blower overdrive. So I have a bigger pulley on the bottom, and I run a smaller pulley on the top. And the way this is set up right now, it's running about 16% overdrive. If I were to go up to the next size bigger blower from this, which would be a 1071, 2 inches longer than this one, I could probably only run it at like 10% overdrive and get the same amount of air because it's a bigger blower. So you see what I'm saying? You see some of these people, they got a small block and they're running like an 871 blower on a small block. Well, an 871 is putting out way too much air. So what they do is they underdrive it. And what they do is they have a small pulley on the bottom and they have a real big pulley on the top. And by doing that, the blower is actually running slower than the crank. So it might only be putting out 2 pounds of air, 3 pounds of air. You know what I'm saying? It depends on the setup and how you want to drive it and everything else. But that's basically the difference between what you hear people saying overdriving the blower or underdriving the blower or 1-to-1. They just the same size pulleys. Well, I appreciate everybody watching. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and I'll keep making some videos. Like I said, I got some more work to do. I want to take the exhaust, the zoomies off. I got a leak on one side, so I'm going to replace both of those gaskets. And then I think what I'll do is I might make a single video just putting it all back together at one time. Again, thanks for watching.